line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker. The future is feeling.
Well, I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but race fans, welcome back here to the show here, and currently we are getting ready to go for the action here of Shake and Bake Racing League's Next Gen Cup Series, presented in part by the ButtKicker Company. The best in performance on feeling real tracks of the virtual world. The ButtKicker feel what you've been missing has been now set to tone here at Martinsville Speedway, with our drivers now ready to get at it and get going. This is a star-studded lineup ready to do battle here on the show. As we take a look at our starting lineups, on the front rows, on back, Derek Whitford will be in the 44. The 7 will be Chris Wilhite. Row number 2 will be Robbie Harpins in the 71 with the 96 of Brandon Sheffield. The row 3 will be the 86 of Jason Jackson. It's Andrew Griesbaum is going to be in the 78. Row 4 is Luke Duran in the 5 with the 79 of Alan Wilson. The row 5 will be 10 of Edward Kane, and that will be with them as well in the 81, Jay and Hop. Row number 6 is Spencer Clark with the 81 and the 92 outside them in the 31. That is Sean Ryan. Row 7 will be Daniel Walker in the 74. The 85 is David Shively. Row 8, final starter, Brian V. Traeger in the 6. And the 66 is Nick Barassi. Race fans, I know I rushed it, but ready to go racing. Here we go, Martinsville. 225 laps to the distance. We're going to line them off and fire away. Entering into the first set of corners here, out of the gate here, it will be Wilhite that takes full control on the back half with Derek Whitford right in front of him. Then the middle plane, so they go. We've got a battle in the back. Alan Wilson, Andrew Griesbaum going at it here for the positions. Oh, trouble there out of the gate already. Alan Wilson, the 79, trouble with Jaden Hop crashing it right off of turn number 2 as well. 2 drivers already wrecking it out. And both guys kind of find themselves in a bit of a clobbering back to situation. Nowhere to go and nowhere to run around here, and they know that very well. Came off that corner too hot, and Hop tried to avoid him. And instead ends up kind of colliding himself into the wall as well. One more look at it from the onboard camera. There goes the 79, and hang on, hang on. Whoops. That's alright, he doesn't need the left side very much, but he does need that right. Wink, wink. If you don't know where that reference is from, I'll tell you a little later on. Feel gonna have to structure back into the position here and see what goes down from there. A bit of a wild little start out of the gate. Not exactly what they wanted to do or what they wanted to bring to the table here. So, not gonna lie, folks, my voice is kind of a little scorched right now, a little bit shot as well, so I'm gonna try my best to kind of keep things in line and in par with what we do here on the show, but I will not lie, I may be a little all over the place here in calling this race. If you are just now tuning in from what we had happen there on Facebook, do not worry, the YouTube section is still doing it as well here. Coming off down the Kiston Sort corner number 4, back to the green. And I said earlier, and I'll say it again, I'll give my thoughts on the Chastain situation here as we get into this race. But right now, I just want to really focus in on our drivers with the top 8 bracketing, looking to enter into the final round with a round of 4 being their final round. And at Phoenix Raceway next week. You heard me right. Next week will be the final race of this illustrious season, full of highs and lows and some chaotic positions in where they go. Yeah, as caution throws out again here, was not paying attention until we just figured out something was going on down there. The 6 of Brian Pete Traeger in the E-Speed Racing Machine, number 6. Sadly not getting off to the start he was looking for there. Gets kind of stampeded and stomped around again. Let's take a look at the replay. A visit to the PTM Instant Replay here shows us what we need to know off of corner number 4. Too hard on the gas, and there's not a lot of room there, guys. Just a heads up. It is a short track after all. Traeger learns that the hard way. Well, and the field are going to have to reel back in and deal with the struggles here. Also, I want to say real quick, I have a name for that number 7, Chris Wilhite, as what I was told. That is how to actually pronounce the name properly. So, Wilhite, thanks for tuning in and helping me out with that. I was very saddened that we kind of messed that up. Well, I mean, 225 laps of the distance. This is not going to be an easy road for these drivers. They know it's going to be a very tight little spot and a tough little corner to deal with right now. The playoffs as well, much in the way of their thoughts and feelings. Brian B. Traeger, one of those playoff drivers, needing to make sure he's got everything in top tip working order. He is one of them. Alan Wilson earlier on, also another one. Currently got struck a little bit ham done. Didn't really know where he was going or where he was done. Derek Whitford, the 44 Machine, Cool Breeze, and Rocky Harbins, and Brandon Sheffield are your other remaining drivers. Still looking to make it to the round of 4, the final round. That is to come here at Phoenix Raceway. Race fans, if you are watching with us live here on the show, be sure to tune in, comment below, let us know how you're doing, how if you're here. We are ready to get to it. Field back down around the track here as they field him back in. Whitford going to continue his race lead. Meanwhile, the number 5 back there, Luke Duran, right now making some good runs here on that 86. Jason Jackson is Jackson. Trying to be a little bit of action Jackson out here. Getting some good runs on the inside corner. Keeps his speed and momentum high above the field. Seems like they've kind of learned their lesson here and starting to cool down just a bit on terms of scope and control here as the drivers lead their way around here of lap 18 of 225. Rocky Harpins looking to try to get himself pretty much secured into the final round, the round of 4. Drivers doing a great job right now, currently keeping momentum at bay and the will up ahead. Entering into this race today, Rocky Harpins, Brandon Sheffield, Brad Ward, Alan Wilson are on the bottom of the cut line. Lauren Shaughnessy, Brian B. Traeger, Derek Whitford, and Luke Duran are currently in position. So Luke Duran, even though he does not have the P by his name to notify a playoff driver, he is actually in the hunt. Coming down side by side right now here in the number 44. I was going to say Derek Whitford going a little bit hard on the gas. Problem though down there for Sean Ryan here. The number 31 has come to a standstill as the Merckx. I hope I'm saying that right. The Merckx 31 machine kind of caught off guard here. We'll take a look at the PTM replay and see what exactly happened here. Yeah, let's take another look at it here. Right him off of turn number 4, and around she goes. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and a lot of troubles kind of pinpoint his way around, sadly there. That will slow down the field again and bring everyone back to the grassroots. So FIA currently just getting the nerves kicked out, trying to stretch their way around the track, maybe just trying to make sure they don't do anything too crazy from here. They know this is obviously going to be a long run and a long race, so trying to avoid any kind of contact with the car, as much as kind of any contact there damaging their equipment. Definitely kind of makes for a little bit of a harder drive here and a harder sell for some of these guys. Top speeds though, working their way around at upwards of over 100 and some odd miles per hour here. We'll tell you full speed in a minute. Now, I did get asked as well earlier on from our Facebook Live about my thoughts on the Ross Chastain, the stuff going on there from 3 into 4 on that final lap there. And my thoughts are this. There's nothing in the rulebook saying you can't. Many drivers have literally done it before. Carl Edwards comes to mind. Kyle Larson comes to mind. Even kind of ironically, even what Larson had said about that move done earlier. And the way I look at it too, it was fair move. It was fair play. Was it a very sketchy one? Definitely. That was probably the most outrageous move I've ever seen, and we've already given the nickname balls to the wall, for say the least there. That is the best way to put that move, because literally he put everything on the line and everything up for grabs and just made it work somehow, some way by a tire over Denny Hamlin. But overall, I know as well as anything, and I think driver's going to say it too, it's probably going to be outlawed by next season. So we'll have to see how the rules get changed into effect for that rule. But overall, give them credit where credit's due, folks. It was probably one of the most historic making moves we've ever seen, and Martinsville Speedway definitely has been making some amazing memories here. We made a new one just earlier today, so while the internet still blows up about that, we're still live here on the show, though, and we're seeing what these Next Gen Cup Series cars can do, and hopefully not having to pull a Chastain on us here, but you never really know too well. Green flag back out. We're back at it here. Chris Wellhite will take the advantage in the third spot. Brandon Sheffield moving down into the second place position. Jason Jackson, Derek Whitford trying to hunt them down. Meanwhile, behind him in the field, Andrew Griesbaum and Luke Duran right now going out a little bit side by side to the corners. A pretty good drive off, I will say, there for both guys here, as currently everybody looks to try to just not only deal with the pressure of this barely two-line track, but also deal with the pressure of the famous bump and run. And again, it's a contact sport for a reason. You're on a short track, you got heavy pieces of equipment, and these cars can take the punishment too. I think they know everything they've got. Coming down off the levels and off the playing fields, every driver for themselves here still. The number 92, Spencer Clark, here in the Cool Breeze Racing Machine, looking to try to keep this momentum up and keep it going. Field is starting to file into a single file draft, but Brandon Sheffield not exactly giving much room off there for Harpin to make a mistake here as we go on board with him. You can see just how close they are in terms of scope, in terms of speed, looking to try to outwin, outmatch the other. Coming down through the corners, down to the playing field, still everybody moving their way to the change, just trying to see who can outclass the other. As you can see the steering too in these cars. I've always said before, and I'll say it again, there's one thing I just do not like about this car. It's that darn snap lock steering. It to me is the worst thing about this car in many regards. Other than that, I actually really do not mind the drive and the way it feels. It feels pretty good to me actually, compared to what some people tell me. It's just that steering method and all that will have to kind of go. Daniel Walker, the number 74 here, the Circle Jerks machine, trying to keep the machine alive and well right now here. Deal with all the company and all the guys right now, just looking to try to ho-hum his way around. Circle Jerks Racing Podcast here, doing a great job right now, in my opinion, kind of staying focused and staying under the touch here. Kind of surprising out of the gate, these drivers haven't been getting too crazy, not too all over the place. I think really the focus has been kind of boiled down to just hit your marks, watch your tempo, watch yourselves, watch your mouth, and hope for the best. And I think a lot of it too, if you think about it, they really do not want to get any blood on their hands. But even you can hear in that car, actually, they are shifting a little bit in the turns, actually. Shifting in and out of the corners there. I believe that is still something that iRacing has not updated yet compared to what they did in real life right now. So a little bit of a head tweezer there between those and that end of the level playing field. Chris Wellhite right now, the number 7, currently staying right behind Rocky Harpins here. The playout driver is Brandon Sheffield and him swapping the positions. Sheffield was able to make the pass later in the run, taking full control now. So now he opens the door up for the lead. A win here would cement Sheffield into the Final Four. But we will have to confirm about that. Also, in terms of playoff scope here, if you guys are wondering about what we were talking about with Go Racing League on Saturday night, we do have on Twitter the actual posting of where everyone is at now in terms of the round of 8. So if you want to know who is in there, or the round of 12, excuse me. So if you want to know who is in that round of 12, feel free to look it up on our Twitter handle. We have the post already set to go and everything seed through to the end. We will post the top 4 entering into Phoenix next week. When we get this when we get the post up on Twitter as well, we will see you guys then. So again, if you haven't been on Twitter or you don't have a Twitter, just make one up, get going, and then also while you're at it, like or follow us up there. And then, of course, on our YouTube here, if you have never been here before and you're just new to the show, first off, welcome. Second off, be sure to subscribe here so you guys never miss a beat, never miss a show. And like and follow up on our Facebook end as our Facebook Live coverage always comes to you with some impressive days and some awesome action. Misfits iRacing League as well, coming back to you live here on Friday night. We'll have to see what they can bring to the edition. And then next Monday, the Pushing Limits Racing League will be back in action. They are taking Halloween off so they can do their own thing this time go around. So we'll see how it all plays out and see what they can bring to the table in coming weeks here. But I guarantee you with those play tracks, they're going to get a lot harder, a little bit trickier to deal with as they start to kind of push along. Andrew Griesbaum and Edward Kane right now doing a great little battle off here between the two drivers. Griesbaum slightly getting the advantage here in the Purina 1 machine. The Purina 78. Stabilizing down, just kind of keeping the momentum at charge and keeping it right on the level he needs it to. Has to watch out though for any miscalculations or any shots in the dark here from that 10. Alright, so sorry about the coverage there for a minute, folks. Long story short, we kind of lost control of our mouse. And also kind of lost control of everything else. A problem down there between David Shively there for the 85, so that will be where we're going to go ahead and kind of refresh here. We don't know for sure what exactly went down that caused that caution to come on out, so we're going to take a look here and see on that end of the playing field what went wrong exactly. So this should be interesting to see what boiled down to this caution to come out in general for that 85 camp. Believe it was due to just a little error here. There we go, we finally found it. Apologies for that. Here, let's take a look and see what went wrong. For the record, yeah, we had to unplug a few things and actually plug it back in. Thankfully it is working now, but the Pennzoil shell 85 slams the inside corner there of the wall, and around she goes. Nothing left she can do about it. 85 kind of posting it right into pit road immediately. And that will set us back up on the track. So the ButtKicker Cup Series here at Martinsville Speedway. Gonna reel back in and reel down through the turns once more. We are still under yellow. And still have just about over 100 and some odd laps left to go in this one as well. Race fans, again, thanks so much for tuning on in here today. We appreciate you guys coming on by. We know it's been quite the time, quite the ride here, and we just cannot get enough of you and cannot get enough of these races. Back down, stacked up right now, double filed in. Field getting ready to go. Off the distance here in turn number 4, green flag back out. Brandon Sheffield's gonna lay it in quick and get it going fast. Rocky Hartman's gonna stay right there with him as they move their way through the chains. No pivoting through these turns, it's always just about keeping it real and keeping it clean. Every driver themselves here as they work their way back off around the distance here. Turn number 4, so far so good, and a lot of power being drilled into these guys' mindsets. Jason Action Jackson, the 86 here. I know we got a lot of Action Jacksons around here, but again, this just goes to show you how many kind of names you can really boil down and really throw off on the tracks here, because that's what we've got coming in store for you and what we bring to the table. Leading down though, Jackson is currently staying right there with Will Height here as they are still in brigade. And keep in mind too, Jackson actually not going through the motions of the gearing. Looks like he's going to stick with just 3rd gear, so that is how he set the car up. Personally speaking, I like that idea a lot better than I do kind of having to swap between gears here. That will kind of help out the chase and cape battle situation. As unfortunately, same can't be said for our old time board here. Let's get that fixed there too, there producers, please. Thank you. Yeah, it looks like we have that finally up and running again. Back the way it's supposed to be. Speaking of the way it's supposed to be, Luke Duran here having a good little tussle here as he's back where he was studying qualifying position. Andrew Griesbaum here dealing with Derek Whitford. Jaden Hobb after his little miscue. It almost happening again. Gives line up. Can't do anything about High Side Motorsports coming to town. Duran moves to 5 ahead. He did it so solidly and so cleanly too. You would have thought literally he was a thief in the night, just kind of sneaking into a window when he saw a chance to get the opening. Clear as cut and clean as can be. Very well done. The number 92 here, Spencer Clark, going to deal with the 81 here. Highside Motorsports, his camp of Jaden Hopp right up on the top side here. Here comes the 92 back down low, sends it where it goes. Badarassi as well, right into the field and into the mix. He's got one right on the 81 as he tries to hold her down. A lot of back and forth here from every driver and everyone in that fold and in the mix. Some team colors kind of representing up for the big orange. Of course, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but the big orange too, having its own little live and compassion. That is Caden Strong, represented on these crew and these drivers. A lot of love there for Caden, trying to help him fight through his disease and everything he is fighting on the track and off the track as well. So our thoughts and prayers to Caden as well here from us here on PTM Racing TV and his family and friends as he fights. Eric Whitford right now, the number 44 Chevrolet Camaro driver, trying to get to that Ford Mustang camp, as well as the Toyota's up ahead with Chris Wilhite, the only one in that fold with a Toyota car besides Spencer Clark behind Whitford. Not exactly giving him much breathing room or any chances to kind of think about it too. He's been kind of keeping the pressure on him and just making sure he watches his openings when he can. That's what you need to do as a driver to make or break your day. Focus on the shots you got and just kind of tempo your way around the track. Big thing about this track too, again with the tire wear here, is going to be more or less once you start to break those Goodyears in, then it becomes more of a handful to kind of hold the line down. As seen such, the 81 Jaden Hopp done for out of turn number 4 and will go to the pits. And Jaden Hopp finding himself yet again in the limelight in the camera view, but not for all the reasons he wanted to be. Turked it off for number 4. Oh man. And well, for anyone that wants to try the Chastain move, I warn you, the 81 just showed you there is something down there that's going to stop you before you get too crazy with it. I've already seen some people actually do it though on on some other platforms here. One of them being the Facebook group iRacing Community. I've already seen somebody post about that and said, well, it works. I didn't think it wouldn't work. Literally, even the broadcasters and everyone said it was a video game move, which it is, but still. So Field going to stretch back out on the track. Brandon Sheffield on number 96. Rocky Hartman's going to be right behind him here, looking to try to get himself squared away here. They'll get one more lap around on the pace car here as well. It'll be very interested to see here late into the run who goes to pit road to get tires and fuel, and those that just currently strive to get a bit of a better leg up. Again, on cold tires though, that's going to really, you can even see Sheffield's already kind of doing what I was just about to say. On cold tires, those restarts and those starts are going to be extremely difficult to not only get, but in my opinion, they're going to be a very big handful to have to work around, because you're going to be having to strive and conquer for any kind of leg up or any kind of position you can get in those turns. Because you saw drivers earlier on get loose, then get tight, then get squared out. It's going to be a handful, and it's a lot of work. And these brakes, these cars too, well, they don't exactly, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't exactly scream really good braking, in my opinion. They do work, it's just locking them up is as easy as it gets, and you'll see what I mean later on as they get later in this race. We've seen it before, we'll show it to you when we can. Back down around the track here, green flag back on out. We're gonna go at it again. Double filed in. No one doing single file. Yeah, they want to give it really everything they got entering into these first set of corners. And they are making it work pretty well here. Sheffield takes an early advantage with the lead. Everybody coming clean through 3 and 4. No bumping and no running yet. It seems like these Shake and Bake Racing League guys are more worried about just kind of keep away from damaging the equipment and maybe more focusing on trying to holster their controls at the same time, maybe not make it too difficult on the playoff drivers. Whatever the case may be here right now anyway, it's been pretty much just kind of a hit, throw, and then take it for what you can and go for broke. Just about approaching halfway marker though. We are almost at lap 120, lap 112, excuse me. That'll be our halfway point. Caution is going to fly on out here. It looks like problems down there for the number 10 of Edward Kane, and another driver getting bit in the dust due to just unfortunate situations here. It looks like this one's going to bolster down to actually something that happened down in turn number 3 and 4, not 1 and 2 like you see. Watch this. There's that brake. That's that stuck brake I was telling you about earlier when you slam the brakes down and that car doesn't want to stop. Kane got trapped, and you actually saw that left front lock. See, he was trying to get squared up, but then he had no control over his car, and that rear end just kicking right underneath him. And, well, I think he first realized he just damaged his car up a little bit more, and he didn't have any front steering to it. That driver that clipped him was, I believe, the number 74 of Daniel Walker, the Circle Jerks. Yeah, there he is. The Circle Jerk 74, unfortunately, getting a piece of him there. And Kane, I don't know how thrilled he would have been about that, but they're going to send him into pit road. Nick Barassi, Edward Kane, Jane Hobb, David Shively are going to pit road right now. So scratching his surface here with the 6th caution of the day. Double file, I'm back up in position right now. Well, nearing 100 laps completed so far. It's been pretty good. It's been a little wild at times, but it's kind of what you get from a Martinsville race. Off of turn number 4 this time on by. Sheffield Harpent's going to send him back down. Back to the action we go. A little mix and match, rustling the feathers up here to go. Entering down the back straightaway here, the number 7 and Chris Wilhite will make a good drive off. Here is currently the number 86 of Jason Jackson, looking to bring the action over onto the track. Derek Whitford as well, the number 44 is just looking on from behind, trying to stabilize down. Oh! Remember what I said earlier about the bump and run? It about got used up there. They come away clean. Luke Duran right now currently getting with some glitch graphic gremlins here, kind of slowing his pace off just by a slight bit. He's going to need to get things kind of settled back down if he wants any chance here to really bring anything to the level. Some drivers staying in third gear, some swapping between late third and second. I would say probably the best thing to do is just really stay in the gear you need to and not worry about the rest. Unless you're going to go fifth gear, sending it through a corner. Spencer Clark still going to push on the legs, push on the Cool Breeze Racing Green 2. That's a 5 of Luke Duran as well. Looks to try to hang in there. Remember, in this race here, top 4 so far, now looking to get into the championship round. And the cutoff actually has locked up 2 guys, and Highside Motorsports and Derek Whitford, and Luke Duran, I should say, and then Derek Whitford, Cool Breeze Racing is locked. So Ryan P. Traeger and Lawrence Shaughnessy currently on the bubble. Alan Wilson, Brad Ward, Brand Sheffield, Rocky Harpence, they're all looking to get in. And this is actually a pretty good scenario here right now for Sheffield and Rocky. They're the 2 front runners, which tells you one thing is for sure. They are looking to just kind of hang in there and look to get the best out of the equipment if at all possible. The way these playoff brackets though work and the way they kind of race out, you know, I always say before and I'll say it again, they're just so difficult to really predict. It's so hard to really get a good understanding or a good representation of it, because just when it seems like you're doing good, you're starting to get going, you're really building momentum up, everything just gets flipped on its head. Pack starting to separate out again here, and you can see Sheffield just rocketing the 96 machine way ahead of its corners and way ahead of its paces. Nobody able to catch him just yet, but again, we haven't really seen a full-on plus 25, 30 lap run, or pit stops for that matter, included in that run, really at all today. So that begs the question, you know, will we start to get a piece of it or get an idea of it later in this race? Caution back out. Sean Ryan has kind of kept that legacy up to par and up to grabs here as we are nearing halfway end of this race. But let's take a look at the replay here and see what happened to Sean Ryan. The Mayors getting a little bit loose here out of the gate. Yeah, the Merrick's right there coming off 31, came off of corner number 4 in the same corner that's bit a couple drivers already. It seems to be the one that's been biting the most out of them. So that will focus our drivers back up in positions here, get everyone squared into phase number 1 again. And then we'll just have to see from there who gets the advantage, who gets the best of the other. Race fans, again, tomorrow night we will be off from any broadcasting, from anything going on. That is, of course, for some fans out there and folks around, Baker's Night / trick-or-treating night. Also Halloween night, obviously. It is the 31st, so yeah, I get to have a little bit of a day off too and kind of enjoy ourselves. But we'll wish you guys a happy Halloween from all of us here at PTM Racing TV. Side note, my favorite holiday of the year, so I guarantee I'm a little happy to finally have that off. But when we return to you, November 1st, one final race, one final chance to grab a championship. Champion Power Equipment Fast and Fun Cup Series coming to you live here on PTM Racing TV, November 1st. It will be our last ever call with the group and the teams. So we'll back up down to the corners here, race fans. We are now halfway done with this race, coming to the restart. Halfway in, halfway done. A lot of cautions here for what seemingly is just another the next gen cup race. Once again with Shake and Bake Racing League, but again we got to factor in 3 things. Number 1, it is literally cutoff race, final race of their season before the championship round. It's the toughest tracks of toughest tracks to master, Martinsville Speedway. And you got a car in itself as an enigma in its own right. That's a lot of factors that make it what it is right now. We're about to see if it will continue to be that way. The trend continues downward for the rest of the fields. We go back to the green. Just barely a half mile in length right now, Martinsville Speedway definitely making things interesting here. It's forcing a lot of drivers' hands, trying to force them to really make a move or make a choice. Either look for your spots and aim for your hits, or go for broke and hope for the best. Choice is yours, really. One driver way up top side there. I believe that is the number 79 of Alan Wilson. It is Alan Wilson here, way wide off the gate and out of the ballpark he goes. He's currently about 5 seconds back of the leaders, and now he's going to be even further back here as he's currently trying to stay out of the way and gets toe tapped by the 85. David Shipley trying to get his laps back as well as Shane Hopp. Crisscross applesauce is his way around with him. Just not a whole lot of breathing room. Again, like I told you, Martinsville, there's no banking on that top side. So once you get loose, you're going for a ride up there, boys. And I'll tell you right now, it's not fun when you get up there. It just makes things so much more difficult to deal with and more of a pain in the butt to get around. Chevrolet has wrecked out. They're going to go to the pit stop, no caution. Chevrolet had not called for caution. You can see the smoke. Looks like it's turn number 4 that bites another one. I think it's kind of the same song and dance, so we're not going to go visit the replay to show you what happened. I think you guys can get the idea of what went wrong. You've seen it already before, so a tough break there for David Chevrolet. Now, as I was saying, the speeds they're carrying upwards of 122 miles per hour on this track, that's blazing. Then again, it's not quite 130, 132 miles per hour for a half a turn, but hey, who's the judge? Rossi going one-on-one here with Rocky Harpins. Harpins right now looking to try to manipulate and max the gas pedal and manage his way through, and he does indeed. A good showing there out of the corners here. Brian Beachrager, though, he's not one to give up either. The number 6 E-Speed Racing Machine trying desperately to make it to the final round. A win here would help his cause and give him the chance of a lifetime, and he knows it too. Right now, he is currently only 4 positions up in the points to the rest of the field. He needs all the help he can get, or he's going to be having a hard little time to stabilize into this championship rounds. Now remember, the points do reset completely in the round of 4, which means you go for broke and you go for it all. Laps left to the distance here. Field can still keep their way in position. Rossi right now probably looking as an outsider looking in, just trying to hope for the best, trying to hope for some breaks here. Let's take a look at our best lap times here from these guys. Best lap times right now looking through the field here. Currently I am registering the number 96 Brand Sheffield as our fastest driver here. He set a time of 19.13. That was his best overall lap throughout the circuit today. And certainly has not kind of lifted up from there. But again, it's easy to do though when you're all on your own and keeping the speeds you're keeping at right now, and he's not holding back too much. I always used to say consistency was key, but being fastest doesn't really make you the best of the best. Consistency is what saves you, and right now he's honestly doing a pretty good job at both of them. Being fastest and keeping consistency up. Harpins though right now, see the brake rotors on these things, man, they are lighting up here on the show. Those rear end brakes, again, these are rear wheel drive cars, so these things pretty much work most of their speeds in the back of the pack. The front is just to keep them straight on line, on target. With the diffusers, the way they set them up too, makes it just that much more interesting to figure out. Harpin's doing a great job though. Cutting through traffic, cutting through the field, trying to hold on. Cresswell Height right now currently also getting there to Jason Jackson here, as Brand Sheffield has already put about a 3-second gap ahead of those guys. He isn't exactly holding down anything. He's just pretty much full throttle sending it off into the corners and into the distance zone. And honestly, I think that was kind of his overall strategy, his game plan, to say the least. Yellow flag back on out. Trouble there. There is trouble on the corners here. Edward Kane. The 10. What is he doing? He's putting that thing in reverse. I don't even know. So I really don't even know sometimes with these guys, man. I really do not know. Take a look at the replay, though. Let's see what happened to Kane here. Looked like he got himself kind of whipped around a little, too. Let's see. I believe it happens here in turn number 3. And did he get tagged, or did he spin? He spun himself out there. Jaden Hobb doing a great job avoiding him. Kane just puts it in reverse. Just puts it in reverse, and then I think he was just trying to get out of there. Honestly, not a bad strategy, at least to avoid causing any issues or any contact there with the drivers, which I guarantee you they'll be very thankful for that. Interesting strategies points here now as Harpin stays out. Clark will stay out. Wilson's already staying out. Whitford and Wilhite, they have entered in pit road. Theo's just going to kind of reset, refocus, regain composure here and try to see what they can bring to the table. The RTD 79 machine with the 96 Brand Sheffield right behind him. Going to get scored back up. We're going to double file back up to the track here again, race fans. We're going to be about 1 lap, 138 here on the restart zone. Spencer Clark and Harpins going to be your two front runners out of the gate, so we'll see what goes down from here. Down off the corner zones here, off of turn number 3 down into turn number 4, and we'll let them loose once again here on the show. Stacked up. Uh-oh, they're really stacked up, but they come clean. Whitford, though, sent back. Duran as well. Every driver for themselves here now, just trying to stabilize down, hope for the best. Duran doesn't really need a win here, nor does he really need any help with that situation. Caution back out, though, again. Brian P. Trigger definitely needs to try to stay out of trouble if at all possible, and this is not looking good for him. Keeps seemingly finding himself in trouble no matter where he goes, no matter what he does. And this is another scenario where the situation just gets out of hand for the number 6 E-Speed Racing machine. Reeled it off turn 4, gets a clip in the back from Barassi, and once he was stuck there, really had nothing you could do about it. Well, it seems like we're getting a bit of a pattern here. We either get a couple laps in a green flag run, or then it turns to caution after that, or it's We go, and then we go, and then we stop, and then we go. I really can't find a balance here, guys. Sorry. So, once again, the field gonna have to try to figure out where they want to make their move and make their mark and hope for the best. Either way, one thing is for sure, do not try to test the waters too much. We're going crazy here. Seems to be kind of on their mind, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to be really the focus. And double filed back up now, race fans. We're going to get to it. Yes, indeed. The field is now back centered off and now looking to strike while the iron is hot. Reeling them down off the corner distance zone through 3 into turn number 4. Watch for the drivers to swing their way around. Back into contention we go. Here it is, go time once more. Now the ultimate question is can we get these guys to focus on the lines and focus on their drive? They cannot get too out of shape or out of hand here. Moving their way to the chains off the distance zone. Solid run coming from these guys. A lot of them are really just trying to manage and mash the gas pedal in, trying to also see where they get to and where they're going to ring their way around. 8 degrees bomb and Spencer Clark here going at it hard with Derek Whitford kind of mixed into that field too. Well, really everyone is going at it with full speed and full use, but deal is how much momentum they're carrying to these corners. All tempers and boils down to only one thing, and that's really how well can they get these tires to rotate off the track. Side by side now, battle for position, top 3 at hand. Chris Wilhite getting a great run off. Jason Jackson sneak his way through, double trouble on the 79. Here comes Daniel Walker as well. He's looking to do a triple. Going for position back. No, just double trouble, losing ground there, unfortunately, for the 79. But a triple threat ensues. Walker just catches him off the corner panel. Both drivers are okay. Meanwhile, up ahead, here you go. Battle for the lead, battle for supremacy, and a chance to lock yourself into immortality, to make a chance and an obstacle for what lays in their wake. And all that matters to them is winning out that title. Side by side now, Sheffield putting the boost to Harpins. Harpins knows he's got to make a run for it. Sheffield gets him off the corner. They are out-dueled. Meanwhile, back behind the pack, there are side by side still charging for position in ground. Everybody right now getting everything that's worth into this race. So much going down right now, guys. It's been absolutely chaotic, and it just keeps getting better and better. Side by side to the corner. Whitford with the advantage on the 74. Now starting to take control. Looks like we're starting to see the run come into play with about 70 laps remaining. A lot of push and a lot of run here. Just trying to get through these corners here. And you can see again just how much these cars rotate on their own, despite the fact that they have kind of a rear wheel drive to them. They actually have kind of a rear steer mechanism that allows them to tilt the car inward and inbound. That in turn allows them to control speeds and much greater control of the narratives. But again, as we saw in the spring race here at Martinsville, that was not quite a good thing in that case, because it was harder than heck to pass and you really couldn't pass. Now, since the updates and really since we're on iRacing and kind of taking some of that knowledge and use that we saw earlier as well, drivers have finally found a balance. And the next gens are starting to indeed, in my opinion anyway, dial in on short tracks. Which I think, as we all know, short tracks is the main focus, the main goal that I think everybody, and myself included, would love to just really see kind of be put back in full prominence and use. The mile and a halfs are okay, but only have like one race of them per season, in my opinion. The rest, give back the short tracks and give them back some chances to race. Andrew Griesbaum here, we focused on him quite a while ago here, but the Shake and Bake Racing League guy has been pretty much here since day one. And he's not holding back again here as he looks to try to make a maneuver off the RTD 79 of Alan Wilson. Caves him on the inside. Without Wilson gonna set the outside off, looking in right now. The Purina 78, great drive off for the inside corner. He takes full control as he moves it down on the front straightaway. Derek Whitford right behind him here, also trying to focus in on his line, trying to make sure he looks for openings when he can, but you can even hear he is getting slammed a little bit in the brake pedal, and he's getting a little slammed up on the accelerator there. Will Height coming forward, coming quickly to get to Harpins again. Will Height does not have any race in this vessel or in this boat in terms of scope, in terms of for a championship contention. He is already out of the playoffs here. He kind of lost that out late in the race season. So at this point, he's just kind of driving for himself and driving for his other guys here as well. Not a bad idea, but I mean, at the same time, you still have to kind of watch your momentum and kind of watch your ticket in and take your position when you got to. Harpin still dealing with Will Height right underneath him and still right below. I think at this point he's just trying to make it as hard as he can here for Harpins, but really again, Harpin's on the very edge of the cut line here. He knows that if he does not make it in with Ryan P. Traeger, that could end up costing both of them here in many regards. Sean Ryan, the Mazer 31 silver Camaro machine, just trying to give a little bit of a little toe tap to that Ford Mustang. E-Speed Racing guy of the 6 machine. Brian P. Traeger here. But Traeger with the eye of the tiger, as I would say. Keeping his distance and keeping himself under control. Knows that he is still a few laps into this race. With little time left to be had. We're down to the final 56 laps remaining. Woodford with so much company coming off his doorstep and off his landing pad there. Wilson kind of making it a little bit more interesting, kind of give him a little toe tap, a little bit of a bump off here as Barassi, even he starts to kind of mix it up a little bit. Closing off the gap right now. Will Height able to get around Harp. It's now making it that much more difficult to really get much needed positions and points valuable right now towards Harpin's camp, and he knows it too. Coming down the inside. And now it's Jackson dealing with the company there from the number 92 of Spencer Clark. Clark is a lap down at the moment here trying to get that back. So is Sean Ryan here in 31. Yeah, for 17 drivers on the track again, or 16 that made the call. Only lost like one of them here in David Shively, really. Shively's been stuck in pit road for quite a time, just trying to get the things fixed out on the chart and just hoping for the best here. 45 laps for Blaine coming to the line here for that number 96. And Brandon Sheffield needs this win to really give himself any chance to lock in and have a chance to go at it for the title. Much was at stake, much was on the line, and he knew it too. Duran right now and Walker having a good little fight out here down on the track side here on the front straightaway. Both guys almost seamlessly innocuous to one another, trying to see who can outplay the other. Alan Wilson, the 82, or excuse me, the 79. Trying to keep his cool, trying to keep his advantage at bay. Walker, oh no, trouble on the front straightaway. Oh, caution. Looks like they want to keep it green, but Walker definitely losing a lot of momentum and slamming into that wall protection. That will cost him. Owner's points valuable here, as well as team points. It's one thing to make your driver into the championship round, but remember, team and owner points are on the line, so they don't exactly want to just give out so easy or so quickly. That's why I see a lot of them just running as hard as they absolutely must and possibly can to get the better of the drivers and themselves. The advent, the benefit of their own crews, their own teams here. Still, we are just nearing the end. 40 to go. It's coming up quick and it's coming up fast, and they know it. That's why they're watching themselves and trying to make sure they don't ease their way out of it. Spencer again, lap down, but on a fresh set of tires and fuel run too. You know what the funny thing is too, in practice, I saw a lot of these guys actually take these cars and they were practicing the what I'm going to nickname, and I'm not taking credit for it here, my friend can take credit for it, but the balls to the walls move. The balls to the walls pass, or whatever you want to call it. That was what we're going to nickname it. That's what we're going to call it, in my opinion. That's what it should be called, because that took a lot of those balls to do. And it worked out perfectly and executed well. And I really hope that does not get me demonetized on Facebook, by the way. So we'll have to see. We'll have on YouTube anyway, so I don't think we'll be too bad. But we do have to post this on Facebook afterwards, as we always do. So just gotta be aware of that, folks. If you see that part of the video was muted, as one of it was already, and we're still in a dispute with them on that, just note that was probably the reason why. Ryan P. Trigger right now, lap down, a couple here. Caught off guard there by Sheffield and Wilhite, and them moving their way through the chains. Rocky Harbor's even getting around him too. So now this is really actually stretched out the way they wanted it to be and the way they need it to be as well. Only the fastest and strongest can survive and conquer. Number 44, Derek Whitford right now, looking to kind of working our way around the track, around the clock. This grease bomb currently just sets right in his way. It's amazing how patient some of these guys are too, if you think about it. Like literally, they're having to wait and wait and wait to get an opening, get any kind of run to the corner, or any kind of run to the straightaway, just to simply make a pass, but also to avoid how loose this car will get or how tough it will get to kind of handle out there. So I'm not really too sure where the ultimate problem is going to lay in wait for it, but I have a feeling that part of it is just due to hanging down the line, trying to hang the corners off. Fields passes down, 24 laps remain here. And right now, Traeger probably starting to feel the pressure a little bit, even though he's a lap down. He's currently still in 8th, but he knows he needs to try to hang on because Sheffield, if he gets this win, I believe, kind of locks himself in. This will help him get maximum amount of points, and it should move him into the top half, the top 4. Shaughnessy Jr. will be the first one knocked off that list. Traeger very close to it. And then again, depending on where Rocky Harpin's finished, also good benefactor and kind of set them back. But Harpin's right now, after going into pit road, has given Traeger a bit of an opening, bit of room here to breathe. Sheffield looking so strong right now and looking so confident in what he's up to and trying to do. Ooh, till that happens. Jade Hopp there almost lost it completely in the corner there and did not quite save that one the way he was hoping for. Been a bit of a wild day, a little ride out here for everybody. No one been able to keep things out of control or keep things under control at times. It's really just been kind of a race your race and hope for the best kind of scenario and deal. And again, with Sheffield, the way he is clutching in and out, I believe a lot of that has to do with to keep his speed up at maximum potential while at the same time actually works out perfectly for him, because really it's been just kind of saving him some fuel and not having to worry about too much on tearing up the tires or the fuel lines. 17 laps remain for that 96. Barring any disasters, any troubles here, this one's pretty much kind of locked and loaded. The drivers right now just pretty much kind of locked off here. You can just see just stretching off our little blimp cam there. You can see just where everyone is at in position halfway across the track levels here. So many guys right now that have gone into pit road really late here. We're looking at tires and fuel and then trying to hope to get out of there as quick as possible to get a chance back into this. Not to be for some, the Caden Strong crew has been absolutely strong and bewildering this entire time around. So Brad Sheffield right now, despite being on the very bottom of the totem pole, or at least second to the bottom, a win here, and for sure he is locked in. And he's currently trying to hold down and trying to keep himself out of trouble. When we get to the final 10 laps here, I'll put the top 5 on your scoreboard here and on the screen as we are leaning our way in. Nick Rossi maybe being kind of a last-minute leg up for Sheffield to kind of use as a bit of a fuel strategy as well as a momentum strategy here. Brian P. Traeger here got passed there by Rocky Harpins a little earlier on, and now scratching and crawling to keep that 31 behind him and away from him. Traeger knows he is in a bit of a bind and a bit of a pickle here. Rolling up on the final laps here. It looks like it could go either way. And these guys just do not want to give it in. 7 to go. We're nearing it. The end is near, and the end could be here sooner than we knew. Sheffield, Will Height, right now, the two front runners. Will Height watching from behind and scoping out a possible resurgence to get to Sheffield. 0.8 of a second back. And with now lap traffic being a factor, Sheffield knows if he gets past, this one could be the end of his season. We're backing him down here. Final 5 laps left to go. Can Sheffield hold on? He's caught between the crossfire right now. He has now literally been closed off in the gap. Jaden Hopp getting out of the way here. Or Will Height. Oh, gotta kind of swerve it around a little bit there from Hopp. Does get it around him though. Sheffield is trying to hang in there just a little longer. You can see Will Height has got a bit of a drive here left to go, with only about 3 laps remaining. Looks like Duran right now is trying to keep Sheffield behind him. It doesn't want anything to do with him. Doesn't want anything to have to persevere or have to get through here. But now it's the corner off. Here they come. A block there. Sheffield, wait a minute. He's going to pit road. Sheffield has ran out of fuel. He's done. Edward Kane almost losing at the corner there. Will Height will hold down the lead. Spencer Clark now. They're going to cross him up a little bit with 2 to go. And Sheffield's season may have just ended on a dime and on a hard note. This could be literally the hardest pill to swallow for him and his team. He thought he had enough, but it wasn't to be. White flag high in the air. Unbelievable. Heartbreaking loss. Heartbreaking defeat. But for Chris, Will Height, he'll bring it to the checkers and a victory for the number 7. Wow. What a performance. We will have to see how everything looks when all is said and done. We'll give you an update on Twitter when the time comes here. But race fans, the race winner, Martinsville, credit where credit's due. He earns this one by a hard charge and a fight to the end. And I think he really doesn't care about the car no more. Chris Will Height will take home the victory. What a race. What a day. Final results now popping up on your screen, presented by the ButtKicker Company. Chris Will Height will take the victory. Jason Action Jackson coming away second. Third to Andrew Griesbaum. Nick Barazzi goes fourth. Fifth to Luke Duran. Sixth to Derek Whitford. Seventh to Rocky Harpins. Eighth to Brandon Sheffield. Ninth then to Brian P. Traeger. 10th to Sean Ryan. Rounds out your top 10. That's going to be a very, very interesting lineup, to say the least. But the top 3 can at least say they come away with a solid day in their own right. And that is how we're going to close that off into the distance. Let's listen in to your drivers now. The top 3 will be joining me here for the interviews. And I guess let's just start with the guy that pops it into victory lane first. He's going to take this one home, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Wilhite is going to win it here in Martinsville. Chris, congratulations on that one, and hopefully I'm saying your last name right. I hope you absolutely had to kill it and throw the wall to the end to take this one home away. How did it feel out there to finally knock that one off?
Yeah, no, it was good. I appreciate you, Christian. Thank you. Yeah, we were, we had a good car, but Chef was the class of the field there. We were not as quick as him, and so we were trying to think through some pit strategy, and yeah, we had to beat him on fuel mileage. But hey, that's a win's a win, right?
It is a win indeed, sir. And what a long run and what a shot you had to absolutely just take to get even in this position, to even get into in that spot. I mean, for you and the crew here, I mean, did you even expect that was going to kind of happen or really kind of play down the way you think it was?
I really didn't. I mean, we had a decently long run early in the race, but Martinsville's tough, man. I've done a lot of official racing this week, and it's caution after caution after caution. So I really did not think we were going to get that long run to the end, but I knew. I mean, I was saving. I wasn't saving from lap one because I wanted to get around Rocky, but as soon as we got by Rocky, I was lifting early there for about the last 70 laps, and I knew we could hit our number. Like I felt very comfortable with the mileage I was getting, and I was just hoping Chef was pushing a little too hard, and I don't blame him because I'm sure he's banking on a caution, right? So he's pushing a little harder, and I was worried about the fuel, and then I could tell I started to eat away at him the last 30 or so laps, and that's when I kind of knew, okay, he's saving. Let's see what happens. And then we saw him pull down pit road there with a couple to go, and got the dub.
Got the dub, got the victory, and how sweet is it? You pull this one off at probably one of the toughest tracks to master. As you pull this one today, though, who do you want to thank you for this one, Will Height?
Yeah, High-Fed Motorsports. Shout out to Lawrence Shaughnessy. I was pitch hitting from him tonight because he was at that crazy finish there at the Cup race today. How about that? So big shout out to him, and then my teammates Alan, Luke, and Jaden. And a big shout out to Luke. No, he's in the championship for, so good luck to him next week in Phoenix. Shout out to Bumper Thumper Traction Compound, and shout out to you guys. I appreciate you broadcasting, and shout out to Shake and Bake League. Appreciate those guys. I filled in a few times this year. It's been a lot of fun, so appreciate you.
Certainly there indeed. Chris, congratulations, man. Well earned and deserved after this one.
Thank you.
Will Height, ladies and gentlemen, will take this one home here after a remarkable end performance there. We'll listen now to your second place finisher today here in Jason Jackson. And Jason, congratulations on a second place finish. And honestly, it was kind of a bit of a ride down there for you because you had a lot of guys kind of just throwing everything to the wall and throwing everything they got to the end. But this one was able to kind of come out clean of it all. What did you want to think about this one?
Overall, I think it was pretty good. There was probably about 4 of us, I think, that were really competing for the win. And the last stop was really, really long. The last run was, and we really had to save fuel. So.
Had to save fuel, had to kind of save the tires as well. I'll say as well, it kind of seemed like when you game out the first half and then into that bit of the second half, it seemed like the cautions were kind of overtailing and kind of trailing you guys to even think about getting a good next half in there. Did you think at any point maybe that caution was just going to get thrown out again, or did you finally think at this point now we really got to put everything into good use?
Well, I think it was, for at least my stance, I was kind of hoping it would do what it did and just went green the whole way, because I knew I was like really close on the number of making it, and I knew there was about 3 or 4 guys that couldn't make it because they stopped way too early, and so it thankfully worked out in my favor and Chris's as well. Unfortunately, my teammate had to stop, but I hate to see that for Brandon.
Yeah, but unfortunately it ends up kind of playing that way out in these playoffs, and as we've talked so many times before. But nevertheless, here, this was a great performance as well for you and the crew, Jason. So as you kind of bring one home, at least for the team, who do you want to thank you for this today, sir?
I'd like to thank really just everybody on the team, Brandon and Ed, Nick, and Brad. Brad wasn't here tonight, but we all work really hard at this, and we've kind of been in a struggle here lately, but I think we're starting to rebound, and I think we look really good for next week.
Certainly indeed. Jason, congratulations, man. A great second place finish for you and the crew.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Jackson going to come away today as your second place finisher. And I do not have Andrew Griesbaum here kind of rolling out, so I presume he is not going to show up here, but he is your third place finisher today. So big congratulations to him and his team and his crew. And big thanks for coming on out as well here. What a performance by all involved and a wild little end and race confirmation. That's going to pretty much kind of do it here, though, for your team. A big thank you again to our friends at the ButtKicker Company. And a big thank you to all the fans out there for tuning on in. I know it's been a long night. Appreciate you guys sticking around, hanging on to the end. We'll see you go when soon enough. As we will be visiting you guys next week here on the show. Phoenix Raceway, Final 4 set. We'll find out who it is soon enough.